Ciao, chi sono io? Sono il logo di Thinking Italian. I'm the talking logo of Thinking Italian. We'll start in 7 minutes. Ciao, Stefano here. You're about to go live. Today's topic is how to learn Italian fast. Q&A. If you have any questions, type them in the comments and I'll answer them right away. Don't wait until the end. Ciao. Still 5 minutes to go. And then we'll start today's live How to Learn Italian Fast. For any questions, type them in the comments, either during the streaming or after that. I'll answer each and every question. Ciao. 3 minutes to go. Question for Mike. Hi, Mike. I'll be happy to answer when we start. If you have any questions, everyone, type them in the comments. Don't wait until the end. This t-shirt is so tight that it even looks as if I had muscles. We're starting in 1 minute. Ciao, buongiorno. It's 9 a.m. here in a secret location. That was my breakfast, but it's too late. Stefano here, your Italian language coach. And today we are talking about how to learn Italian or just any language fast. This is mostly about the Italian language, but not only. And if you have any questions, type them in the chat. Don't wait until the end, and I'll answer them right away. I also have some tips I'd like to share with you, but if you have your own questions, that is going to be more relevant to you for sure. I already have a couple, so we'll go through them first. Mike, I remember you. I've been doing your lessons for a few months. Now, lesson 58. Good, that's a good pace. It's going well. Sometimes I have to do the previous day's lessons the next day. Yes, that's normal. I will be surprised if you managed to go through the whole course without reviewing, because its pace is quite challenging, especially if you only use my course. And yes, it's totally normal. My rule of thumb is, which is what I also do as a learner, keep going until you understand at least 60% of what you hear. I mean, I say understand. Doesn't matter if you miss some words here and there. If you can't speak along with the audio, also, that's not a problem. You mumble, that's okay. That still counts as practice. And then what I do is I go back a few lessons. If I get stuck, it gets frustrating around lesson 58. I will go back maybe 10 lessons, take lesson 48 or 5 lessons, and everything will feel easier. It's a mystery, but so yes, it's totally normal. Keep going. Take a lesson every day. One, I recommend one because we also sleeping is part of the learning process. And when you sleep, you process, consolidate what you learned during the day. You can also take, if you're reviewing, or if they feel easy, you could take two, one in the morning, one in the evening. Me personally, I take one, but every day. And as the lessons get harder, do lesson sequence A 2 times. We're going to B 2 times, then C. I do ABC, simple, but you're still repeating, so that doesn't hurt. But don't get stuck on it, because you're not even supposed to memorize or keep up with the audio anyway. So don't become obsessed with some sentences. You find out that you wake up the next morning and you already remember more than you think. And by remembering, I don't mean, well, if that happens, that you also remember the whole sentence, that happens. But I mean that it's sinking through your brain, and overall, your skills are improving. You speak faster, you understand more. It's not a word count inside your head, because it's never remember or not remember. Some words you have them on the tip of your tongue, others you understand them but you can't use them yet. There are many language apps that well, it's also a way to keep you motivated, engaged, and paid. They show you a number of words that you learned. There's no way they know. And some apps have a button like too easy, but that's self-assessment, and we tend to be very generous, overly generous with ourselves. Mike is following up. I understand over 70% should do one lesson every day. Yes, well, one lesson every day, that's my suggestion. Everyone, well, we come from different backgrounds. Some people use other materials. Some have already studied for a while. Maybe they covered some topics, but not in, they don't, they're not introduced in the same order in my course. And what is difficult for you is not for others. But one lesson every day is a good pace. It's I designed it that is long enough. One lesson is long enough to be effective, but not too long. I find it's good compromise. But if you have time and motivation, why not take another one or review it later? I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. My recommendation is once per day, and that's already more than People, it's like workout. You start with good intentions, but then Mike, his wife is from Sicily. She's happy to speak my point across. Make a lot of grammar mistakes. Yes, that's that's normal. You um, effectiveness. That means get getting you understood. For me, that's a higher priority than grammar accuracy. That comes with time. You might think that if you spend some time first learning grammar, rules, exceptions, memorizing words, then you'll be prepared to speak. But that's the other way around. We learn by speaking through in conversation, by trial and error. Even if you know the rules, you end up making mistakes anyway. Or you think you need to think so long that it's not feasible in the real world anyway. Oh yes, I do grammar mistake. I'm learning Tagalog now. I started 1 month ago, and my life is a is a series of mistakes. Every sentence. If you have someone who keeps you company, could be a language tutor, a language exchange, could be your wife, and they can point out what you got wrong. That's even better. But if you're alone, a second best is still to listen and repeat. And mm, don't become obsessed with feedback. Some users ask me why I'm not adding a recording feature. I don't want people to break the flow. If you stop and push record and then you push play to hear yourself, yeah, that's another thing. And what people are lacking usually is speaking practice. So I'm not adding distracting features, not necessarily useless or bad per se, but that's something else. And I can't be everything to everyone anyway. Uh, so my course is a speaking practice tool. That's it. Should I say your accent? Maybe sound like me. That's that's possible. But I don't have a at least I don't have a regional accent. I do have an Italian accent when I speak English. Uh, but people can't guess where I'm from in Italy. Even Italians, they don't know. Well, sometimes they even think I'm a foreigner. But I've been abroad for a long time. Then there was another one. Secretariat girl. Hello. Try to use gold listing. I'm embarrassed. I don't know what that means. Gold listing is like creating flashcards. A list, word list, gold list. I don't know what a gold list sounds fancy, but I don't know what it is. Did you to find material? Finding material? No. There's plenty of material out there. You could, yeah, copy and paste everything from reverse and make your own one. But the time you should be, the time you should be spending learning, practicing, speaking, especially you're working on the material, but not using it, and that you lose motivation. That's why I provide a course that is ready to go, and it has been designed by someone who knows about it. Uh, Sometimes you don't even know what you need. That's why, as a learner, not only you but me too, I use structured courses made by my linguists or tutors. And specific topics, get phrases from reversal. Gold list. You use a notebook, write words, then 2 weeks later come back the ones you don't know, retain but time consuming. Space repetition. Yeah, Anki is isolated words, yes. I do something like that. I wouldn't call it it's gold listing maybe, but I do take notes. Yes, it's proved. It's proven. It's been proven by research that we remember better, more and better, what we write by hand. If you take notes by hand, you remember better than if you type. And after every lesson, I take notes of the most important words. You can also do it with phrases. I take notes on a notebook. They are taken from my last lesson. I take lessons online, so that means the Skype chat log. And I write the words, word, and then I draw something next to each word, something funny, memorable. Uh, doesn't need to look good. It's for my personal use anyway. And then I cover the words and try to recollect the words one by one by looking at the pictures, the drawings. I do this the day after the lesson. The same principle we learn what we also learned during our sleep, and I find it that a good timing is one day after. Ideally, yes, if you follow rigorously spaced repetition, you could do that after a longer interval than after a longer one. So there could be 1 week, 2 weeks, yes. It becomes like a job, and then it's not enjoyable anymore. I only do it the day after, but you can do that, yes. But the material, I'm not looking for material on the web or anything. The material is naturally composed, built during your lesson, if you take lessons. But that's the best way. And no, that's already a repetition per se, because the first time you were exposed to those words was during your lesson, then the day after you're already reviewing. So yes, writing and reviewing, speaking out everything you write, trying to recollect. I find that imagery works because you are writing it, and also because image is more powerful than text. That helps. Yes. I don't know if there's a word for what I do. I think I'm not the only one. I saw something like this in some polyglots blog. Yeah, I had been doing it for a lifetime. Then was try with Gosling 16 days. Parts of a phrase. Yes, well, it's it's very difficult to remember entire. I don't know if by phrase you mean a sentence or a phrase. Phrase means more than one word logically connected. Like I'm in a restaurant. In a restaurant, you could say it's a phrase, and I am is another phrase. If you mean the whole sentence, it's even more difficult. Don't expect to remember uh, everything you're exposed to. That's not how our brain works anyway. If you retrain something and you can put it into practice, that's already an achievement. I'm scrolling down. Yeah, Anki, I never used. I never use flashcards, unless you call flashcards my notes on the notebook. No. Yeah, Anki is about words. I take note of words, but I put them in, into context. I build sentences during my following lesson. Usually, I take a lesson the day after I review on my notebook, and then the lesson after I say, teacher, I have some words I want to practice, and I build sentences with them. Yes, phrases, sentences work better than the words because we learn from context. I had phrases that were too long. Supposed to be no more than 1, 2 new words, 4 words. Um, there's a limit of the amount of words that you can keep, or new information in general that you can keep in your short-term memory. I read it's about maybe 5 to 8 things. So yes, there's no point in reviewing 100 words in a day. You should keep it realistic. I mean, it doesn't hurt. You're still studying it, but the, the marginal effect is smaller and smaller. You distill through 4 times. Yes, if you do it scientifically, it's, the intervals should be longer and longer. But it becomes tedious, and the time that you spend maintaining the system, you could spend it practicing. Context of the theme, yes. Yeah. That's why you learn from sentences. I'm following. Mike, when I have conversations, she understands, but she corrects me. Stop me letting down. Hey, that's you need to acquire a certain sensibility for mistakes. If as a tutor, I used to do one-on-one tutoring. If you interrupt, or also do it at the end of the sentence, but and correct everything, you end up as a tutor speaking more than your students. If you let them get by with every mistake, they never learn. Usually I start from the most serious ones, and then little bit by bit they do it less and less frequently, and then I move on to others. Don't be frustrated. Some things, there's an interesting phenomenon. The order you're exposed to grammar is not the order you master it. One common example in Italian is are the articles. We have quite a few. It's not only the or only a, and but you can't live without them. You barely, yeah, you can hardly build a sentence without them. So you're supposed to use them right away, but you're not used to them. Especially some languages, they don't even have articles. Many languages. So you make mistakes in every sentence where you need an article, and it takes some time. But don't get frustrated. That's normal. Correcting, I rarely interrupt. It depends on some students speak more, some others need a prompt, but generally speaking, I wait. I don't interrupt, and then I correct something, but not everything. Yeah, it's tracking, so correcting. Also, I don't know what, but I correct in Italian anyway. I never use English. If you use English, you break the flow. I don't, and when I explain through examples. I don't teach rules. The whole essay on the theory and imagery is one approach to. Yes, I didn't make an a course based on imagery with pictures, because as people, otherwise people would keep their mouth shut and look at the pictures and never talk, which is what happens with virtually every language app, of course. I made an audio course, which is also what I use as a learner. Um, but yes, text plus pictures, imagery works better than text only. But audio is better than text. That's might not be obvious, but we learn through audio. But there are languages that don't even have a script, but people learn how to speak it. No. Found longer phrases which too long, many words. Remember some, you go back. No, useless. Maybe you're drawing from Wordless. Useless. I rarely encounter useless words because my main source of words is my lessons, my live lessons, and the material is naturally generated by you and your tutor, and that's the best way to focus on what is relevant to you. Oh, yes, if it's a standard list, probably there are many words that you don't need. Anki drove me crazy. Yeah, you also need to load your own. It's like those restaurants where they bring you the food and then you're also supposed to cook it and you pay for it. Learn some verbs. Yeah, verbs are the most powerful words. But don't become obsessed with conjugations. It's fine to make mistakes. That's also the most difficult part. In Italian, at least, or similar Romance languages. Some languages don't even have conjugations. Chinese, Indonesian. 20 words a day, 20 minutes, 14. I wish I could remember 14 words a day. That's already a lot. If you think that you can already express yourself about a lot, like 80% of what you might conceive with only 1,000 words, that means that yeah, in a few months you reach that. That's already. I don't do. I can do it. This is still. It's short now. Yes. I have more fun with QVC Italia. I don't know what it is. I'm googling it now. QVC canal is the QVC Italia. It's an online shopping channel. It's more fun than Anki, I believe it. Mike, okay, sometimes I do more than one story, logic on me. Yes. They're getting easier. Sometimes I do several a day. Yes, yes. Generally speaking, the more the better. I give this one per day rule of thumb because usually people have the opposite problem. They can't find the time, or simply you need a simple system. Do this A, B, C, one per day, like a medicine. If you give to complicated instructions, then people give up. But yes, the more the better. Also, they're very short. My readings, they're only about 100 words, 1 minute of audio. Now with the mobile app, there's a new feature. You, when you select, you filter the lessons. Let's say intermediate level, stories, or news. Then you see a play all button. You push it, and it plays all the readings that you found on the search panel. You keep listening and speaking. I received quite a few requests for this feature because else every minute the reading stops and you need to push, and people do it maybe while doing workout or driving. There's free PDF ebook. You can see how it works. You can adapt it. I. What are you talking about? QVC Italia? I just googled it. I thought it's a shopping channel. Free ebook. I don't know which free ebook you're talking about, Secretary. Good. Mike, when it'd be good to start watching TV shows? It's never too early to be exposed to the language. That's what you're already doing with my courses. Just don't expect to be able to to keep the pace of the audio, catch everything, but even as part of it, because what you hear in the real world movies, it's very different. They speak faster, they use slang, there's noise, background music. So if you set realistic expectations, don't feel frustrated because you can't watch a movie in Italian. That's a very advanced goal. It's one of the it's a kind of material that is it's made for native speakers. That's naturally difficult. Then yes, go on, watch it. It's useful to split to break the video. If it's a 10-minute video, you go you watch a bit, then you go back. So repeating, if you catch some words and you repeat them or take notes, but it's never too early to do it. However, if you had only 30 minutes a day and you were to choose one thing to do, I would do the course. But you can also watch a few minutes of a video and then review it the day after or like that. Second, in the present and past, help prevent infinities. No. You know, when I learn the language, I don't even learn those words. Present, past, tense, mood. Uh, you're learning about the language, but I want to learn the language. So there's don't even. I never studied grammar. I don't remember when I last used the textbook. Curiosità live on YouTube shopping. No? Yes. Should leggi con me storie corrispondi alla level e ripeti con me. Um, they are sorted by level. The author of the readings is different from the author of the course, which is me. It's possible that they don't perfectly match. You set it by yourself. It's not a medicine that the doctor tells you to take it in a way or another. But you can expect material categorized as A1 to be more or less A1. All this slang have megahertz choice. I don't know what that is. The world's best TV streaming comedies. English subtitles. I would do without English subtitles. If you use subtitles, use the Italian ones. But else you end up staring at the English subtitles and you ignore the audio. Or you watch it once with the subtitles so you know what's going on, what people are talking about, and then switch to Italian ones. You can also do that. Stop and repeat. Yes. There's no point in going. But you enjoy it. You enjoy the content, but if it's to learn the language, don't watch a whole 1 hour video in one shot. Split it into smaller bits and review them. Old and learn the old way. Well, you're not old if you're learning something. As long as you're learning something, you're still young. Can read La Stampa better than Messaggero. I know those two newspapers. I don't know if the writing style is so different that makes a difference. As usual, foreign shows. What should I think? Go back. Yes. Good. And I'm happy that we had so many questions today. Uh, what I wanted to share with you, I already covered, I would say. That is that you should be speaking every day because we learn through audio better than through text. And that's why I made an audio course. It's called Ripeti con me, repeat after me. Mike is already using it. I'm not sure about Secretarian Girl because I've never seen this name. If you haven't tried it. And this is, you eventually need audio. I'm sorry to contradict you. You always need audio, and the earlier, the better. No, it's not that you'll never be ready, good enough to start speaking or listening. You should be speaking from day one. Good. We've been, yes. I have something to eat in front of me, and I'm eager to eat it. I'll see you doing some part of the lesson, no speaking pattern, yes. Yeah, I should find someone to speak. No. The more frequent, the better. It's only a matter of money if you're paying for a tutor. Well, yeah, speaking is better. My courses are an alternative if, to speaking with someone. It's cheaper because uh, it fits your schedule, but you should be talking with someone. I'm a perfectionist, memorizing. No, don't get stuck on a sentence on a lesson only because you're missing something. Good. I'll see you in a month. I think I'll still be here. I'll still be here. If you still have any questions, you can leave a comment under the video and I'll answer them there. Ciao Mike. Ciao girl. Bye bye everyone. Ciao ciao.